Welcome back to Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and tonight I'm joined by Chris McElwain at Celtic 1, Falkirk 0. Chris, could have been a lot more. Decent first half, I think.
Yeah, lots created, I felt. Been really impressed with a few players in particular. I thought KT looks, every time I see him, I just think, wow, what a player we've got back. Apart from that hit miss that he had towards the end of the half there, it was funny because I saw on the group chat, our colleague Ryan had said well, let's just say the impromptu bowel movement when he saw Tierney going down. I think I nearly the same because the way he swung and the way he fell, I thought, God, my heart was in my mouth. But thankfully he was okay. But yeah, I thought the half was quite good. I thought we played positively on the front foot. As I say, I think there's been lots created, particularly down the left-hand side. Been impressed with both Kieran Tierney and Dyson. Dyson looked very, very busy in the early going. Actually putting in some decent crosses as well. Arne Engels looks like he's kind of desperate to get a goal from open play. Some cracking set-piece deliveries. And I think Johnson and Forrest are linking up very well on the other side. So overall, I think it's been a really good performance. One or two wee wobbles at the back at times, but I think everybody to a man, I think, has done their job. And I think, the only maybe downside is that we're not more than one goal ahead.
No, without a doubt. And obviously, KT does that, and nobody moans because it's KT. And he's okay. And as long as he's okay, then we're okay. And again, we're going to have to obviously manage Kieran Tierney's game time. We've got another game in Europe coming up on Wednesday. Place looks packed. Atmosphere looks absolutely brilliant. Paddy Lavery says the team is playing well. Absolutely. Jungle Lion, Maida is relentless tonight. He really does have his mojo back. KT, I think what's happening down the left, Kieran Tierney is basically playing balls that most left wingers have no chance of getting. But he knows the capability, Maida, and he's like, right, go and get that. And invariably, he will get it. So I think that it's the best performance of this season. I know it's a small sample size that we've had from Dyson. I'd love to see him just getting a goal just to open his account this season as well. But let's start off with talking about scoring goals, because before the game, we were talking about the pecking order, if you like, of the centre forward. And from what I've seen of Kenny, and I was obviously watching his progress or otherwise when we loaned him out initially to Queen's Park, but then he goes to Ireland and he does really well over there. There are parts of his game that I think are really, really good. I mean, the amount of times he's come into that centre circle area, picked the ball up and done exactly what you want your striker to do and lay it off. He had a really good movement with McKeown in the first half, and McKeown plays him through. A brilliant ball by Luke McKeown. But I just don't think he's got the finishing quality. I really don't think he's got it. There's been a number of crosses, Chris, that didn't even look like chances because the ball's been whipped in and your centre forward's not between the sticks. Yeah. He's not there. It's maybe a couple of yards ahead. And it's about that awareness within the box, the instinct to get on the end of these chances. He's missed a couple as well, unfortunately for him. That move with McKeown, it's like he ran out of puff. He ran out of steam, ran out of ideas.
Yeah, it's as if he got lead in his boots, actually. He seemed to, because normally he's got a bit of pace. I couldn't seem to quite just get into his stride with that one. It was a strange one.
And it's not, look, this isn't an opportunity to bash Johnny Kenny. We're talking here about a game that is, in the lead up to a Champions League qualifier, the big conversation that you and I were having is, and it was in the comments as well, Kenny's got an opportunity to impress the boss. He could start, next week. On that performance, he's not starting next week. And this isn't me being negative. It's all about quality, Chris. And in front of goal, watch him scoring in the 46th minute. In front of goal, he's been left wanting tonight, I think.
Yeah, listen, I'm like probably most fans. I want to see all of our players doing well, and that includes, Johnny Kenny. Everybody that pulls on the hoops, I want to see do well. But I think, when you base it on what we've seen so far, and I think your analysis is spot on. It's about that instinctiveness and that positioning in the box. And I think a great comparison is, look where Maeda found himself for his goal. He was there to receive the cross. He was in exactly the position he needed to be, and he finished it. And I think you look at some of the chances that have came from the wide areas today, particularly even some of the ones that Maeda himself have put in. I think if Maeda is actually the man in the middle, I think we're probably a couple of goals up, because I think he's got that positional sense. I think he's got that footballing intelligence. Now, I think players can develop that. So maybe what Johnny Kenny needs is a run of games. But the problem at our club is you don't get the time to do that. You're really, and the next game you go into is the next most important game, and we're talking about going into a huge European tie. Look, whatever you think of the opposition, it's the biggest game in terms of importance that we've played in our season up to this point. So it's a huge, huge match. And you're looking for that assured presence up front, someone that you put up there, they're going to be in the right position to get on the end of the chances. Now, a lot of the times we bemoaned the lack of chances for strikers. We said it when Kyogo wasn't scoring, we've said it with Ida, we've said it with other players in the past. I don't think you can level that at the creative players tonight, because I think, there's been great delivery by Engels from set pieces. One he was very unlucky not to score with. There's been fantastic crosses coming in, whipped in crosses coming in high. I mean, all different types of and variety of delivery has come in tonight. And unfortunately, the man that's leading the line just can't seem to find himself in a position to get on the end of them. So like I say, if he comes out there and scores in the 46th or 47th minute, nobody will be happier than me. But on the evidence we've seen, I think, we really do need more quality in there. And I think we've got it at the club. And I think his name's Dyson Maeda.
Oh, without a doubt. The problem you've got there, Chris, is then your left-hand side is bereft of quality, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
You've seen James Forrest popping up a few times on the left. And James, what he's done in the first now 2.5 games of the season, you're thinking fantastic, but we cannot continue to rely on him throughout the season. A game against European opposition from Kazakhstan next Wednesday. James is the type of guy who'll score. He'll score in a game like that. He's got that all about him, the experience, the know-how, the verve. He's got it all. He still has got it all, but we shouldn't be relying on him, Chris. You're looking at Yang on the bench, divides opinion. I think I put him in the category before the game started of the likes of Stephen Welsh, the likes of Johnny Kenny. I don't think that if you're going to progress, these are the guys that are going to help you across that progression. But he is one of the only wingers we've got at the football club as well, and probably not as strong on the left as he is on the right. So you're absolutely right, and I don't disagree with that. Maeda's the best striker we've got. By a distance, incidentally, by a distance. But we just don't have that Jota flair down the left. By the way, Kieran Tierney's playing like a winger half the time as well.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, some of his crosses and the way he's getting to the byline is what we've lacked in previous seasons. So really, really pleased to see him there. But again, you move him forward, you put that left back. So it's almost like you've got one of these puzzles where you move the pieces about and there's always a gap, and it feels a little bit like that in the team.
It does. I mean, Jim, we went back to that age-old question about changing shape. We don't change shape. We change shape in-game. I think when you're on the attack or when you're defending, we're changing shape then. I wouldn't stand up on a tactics board alongside Brendan Rodgers. The guy has got the tactical ability and he's got the knowledge and he's got the experience, absolutely. And it sounds a bit dim when somebody like myself is talking about no playing with wingers or play with two up top, etc. It sounds as though, what do you know about football, really? But I just think that you play to your strengths. And at the moment, we're in a position where we don't have the personnel. Really, we don't have the personnel to be playing with two out-and-out wingers. And if you're going to try something, maybe if you get another goal or two tonight, try it then, Chris. Try it when the risk factor is a little bit lower. And then maybe try it in games where you're winning at a canter. There are normally a few occasions during the season where you're 2 or 3 goals up at home, the game's secure. Maybe try it then, see how it goes. Let's bring in some of your comments. I'm going to bring in Ewan Boy Martin. Big Ewan.
Don't bring him in because I know what he's going to say.
The big man has followed Acsom all over the place, all over Dunoon, Glasgow, Belfast. The big fella tonight. He's actually in Paphos, and he is in a place called the Buzz Bar. We were talking about Celtic bars in his area. Well, he's found one. There you go. And to be honest with you, Ewan, all I did was check CelticBars.com. The guy's got a site on there that is second to none. Yeah. It's one of these sites in the world of Celtic that nobody will ever compete with CelticBars.com. It's a wee bit like Celtic News Now. There can be no other news aggregator site on the planet that's going to match that. That's the number one. Just leave them to it. They are the best, the original and the best. Joe Hamilton, Benzo finally getting minutes.
Was having a decent game there for a bit as well. I was like, Benzo having a game of his life.
A couple of decent saves. couple of decent saves. There was one moment where we did beat them, other than the goal, and the balls ricocheted off the post, and it was Arne Engels. Now, I want to have a wee chat about Arne Engels because I'm not saying that I've been his biggest champion, but I have, spoken about his abilities over the last year when a lot of people have been going on about him being too expensive, a waste of money. I've seen it in the Scottish press, people saying he was worth 3 million. I think that's all nonsense. I think it's absolute nonsense. And I'm not going to bore the listeners who have heard me going through the reasons why I think it's a nonsense. But what we want to see, and we spoke about it before the game, Chris, we want to see him being aggressive in his play and not just on a one-to-one basis where you're going through your man and all that. Be aggressive in your play insofar as grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck, controlling the game, making things happen. He's looked a lot more aggressive tonight. I mean, within 20 seconds, he was almost injured, I think, on the edge of the box. But since then, that's the type of performance I want to see from him, week in, week out, where he's been in the game, Chris.
Yeah, well, I think he's taking responsibility tonight, and I like that. I like the fact that he's stepping up, he's doing the set pieces, and he's putting in some good deliveries. I've liked his intent. He's finding himself in and around the box a lot more. When I look at him, I see a player who's desperate to score from open play. He looks so frustrated when he doesn't. And I think there was never more evidence with the ball that AJ put across from the right-hand side that, it should have been met by Kenny, to be fair, but, bypasses Kenny and the defender, and it just kind of catches Engels off, unawares. But he looked so frustrated by it because it was such a good chance to score. So I don't blame him for missing that one, because that one came to him late. But what I've liked is he's found himself in those sort of positions. With that said, one thing I did see that I still want to see more from him is he gets brushed off the ball and goes down a little bit too easily for me, when I think he can actually hold off the player and continue the passage of play. And that's where I think he's got the physical stature. I just think he needs to learn to maybe do the James Forrest thing. Use your backside a little bit, use your weight, use the physical attributes you've got, and stay on the feet and keep the play going. So I feel as though sometimes he maybe is too keen to draw a foul at times, and that actually, for the way we want to play, you don't want our play getting broken up all the time with cheap fouls. So I do think he's playing, and I agree with John, I think he's playing better tonight. I think he's playing like a player who's got something to prove. So unlucky not to score with two. Won the great two chances, won the great free kick. It was really, really unlucky with him, the aforementioned AJ chance. But yeah, I think potentially with Engels, I think see if he does get a couple of goals from open play, I think people will will give him a little bit of more slack, because I think he is contributing to the play tonight. I think there's been some good link up with the other midfielders. I think he's finding himself working quite well with KT. And he certainly, the one thing we said at the pre-match is sometimes you don't remember much of Engels throughout games. Well, I've seen him a lot tonight, and I think that's a good endorsement of his performance. You've seen a lot of Engels on the ball tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know what we're expecting in terms of a goal return from Arne Engels. I know that obviously he came right on the back of us selling Matt O'Reilly, who was very much in amongst the goals.
Comparison.
Arne Engels, when you look at his career, doesn't score goals. Prior to coming to Celtic, he'd scored 6 goals in 6 seasons across playing for the Club Brugge second string in the second tier of Belgian football, and playing for Augsburg as well. He'd scored 6 goals in 5 and a bit seasons. It wasn't as much as 6. And then it comes to Celtic, he's on the pens, he's on all the set plays, etc. And he does get in amongst the goals and the assists. So maybe we should temper our enthusiasm. Maybe he's not one of these goal-scoring midfielders. We've had players like that in the past who, just how many goals did Neil Lennon score? No very many. But still a really very important part of the team and a great midfield player. So Arne Engels, just play your game, son. Just be natural. The goals will come. Don't be desperate. Don't try and force it. Thanks everybody for getting involved. I'm keen to bring in some more of your comments. We've got Jungle Lion pointing out quite rightly the Green Brigade have been on tremendous form tonight. They are making a racket, and I seen just before the game they were putting out in their socials that you can sign up to become a member. You can have a membership of the Green Brigade. I think I'll need to check the price of that, but you could sign up before the game, and it helps with the tifos, and it helps obviously with organisation. But they're also looking to finish, the artwork that they were doing underneath the stands as well. So sign up for that and share it on their socials. Paul O'Neill, wee bit guilty again of trying to walk it into the net. There was a few occasions, I think, with Callum McGregor and Luke McCowan have tried a few things from distance as well. But I get what you mean. There's been, occasions where it's almost like just fire the ball in.
A bit more direct. Get a couple of goals up, and then you can try the intricate passing, around the box.
Absolutely. Now, the game's about to kick off in the second half. Falkirk, the opponents, are on the park. So let's go and rejoin the action. And hopefully when you come back at full time, we can talk about a few more goals. So join us at full time on a Celtic State of Mind.
Come on, Hips.